This show is brought to you in part by Netflix. Head to ctrdeal.com/Netflix for your free 30-day trial. Welcome home, Raiders. This week, Ghostcrawler gets a new gig, and we've got more for you. Could the beta be coming soon? And Siege of Orgrimmar is getting nerfed. This is Convert to Raid number 127.
You're listening to Convert to Raid.
Convert to Raid.
The podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
From the Convert to Raid Command Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, today is January 19th, 2013, and it is now 11:14 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I'm your host of the show. I'm also called Zug around Aerie Peak, U.S. And still raiding. Still doing the thing. And, as always, the players, they be jamming with us. Or something. Sorry. I apologize. Let's go to the guy who's trying to figure out what a Seahawk is.
What?
Or maybe he actually knows. It's Darius. What is this?
No, that's true. I have no. It's a bird, some kind of bird. I don't know. I googled that when I got here.
It's a hawk that belongs.
Sure.
Is it in the sea or does it go by the sea?
I think it's actually it lives at bars. It just gets really drunk on Sundays.
Oh, all right. That's good.
Was good. You said we are jamming? Was that in relation to the fact that the Jamaican bobsled team made the Olympics, the Winter Olympics this year?
That's amazing.
Yeah, for the first time since that movie.
Since Cool Runnings?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, go Jamaica.
Right.
Rooting for them at the Olympics.
Cool. I don't know. Let's move on. Let's go out to our man in Hollyweird, the Funky Monk. It's Coltrane.
Fortune cookies say,
Oh boy.
a druid who lights their farts casts moonfire. Huh?
No.
It's a moon,
No.
and then there's fire.
No.
His butt!
No! No!
What do you mean no? That's
I mean,
brilliant.
no!
It's moon fire!
I mean no, and I said no.
All right. It's fire
Wow.
coming from his moon.
Right. No, I get it. I get it.
You just don't want it.
No, I don't want it.
Well, I loved it. That was sent in by Morrison on Coltiris? Coltiris?
Yeah. That's
Well,
it.
but he spelled it Coltires.
Oh.
That can't be right.
No.
Tires?
It should be AS at the end, I believe.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I'm seeing
Yeah.
10 out of 10, and I'm also seeing no bongos, and then I'm hearing 18 out of 10. So I think it's a nice middle ground.
Got 100,000 out of 10 from Troll.
That's right.
But I think
That's
he may be
mega damage
trolling.
bongos. Mega damage.
Mega damage.
Mega damage bongos.
Well, thank you for participating as always, and I won't say anything more. Let's just we've got a bunch of stuff to go over this week. It's like
We do.
everybody's back at Blizzard, and everybody's back kind of around gaming and everything like that. So there's like lots of stuff to talk about. But first up, let's figure out what's been going on this week for you guys. And Darius, maybe you should kick it off. What's been happening with you?
Did the raiding in on my druid again?
Yeah.
I think we got down heroic Shaw of Pride. Did we not on Sunday?
Yes, we did. And for that, I will give us a big applause.
Yes.
The old asparagus initiative.
Yep.
Now, what is different about that fight on heroic compared to normal Shaw of Pride?
There are these little fissures that sprout up along the room, and that you have to soak, essentially, because they're putting out damage, so you have to go grab them. But then, of course, there's, like a timer thing on it, so you can only do it every, minute?
Yeah, it's every minute. There's a lot more damage going out when he does his swelling pride ability. It's kind of, there's not a lot happens in normal, but in heroic you can almost kill people. A lot more pride going around in general, so people There's a lot more personal responsibility. And then there's this cool little maze thing that healers and DPS get to do.
Yeah. It's like Pac-Man.
Yeah, you get sent into another realm and you can't move forward, or you can't stop. Your character keeps moving forward. You can only control left or right, and you got to avoid these ghosts actually that are following you. It's basically Pac-Man.
What? Are you serious?
It's essentially Pac-Man. It really
That's
is.
insane.
And they have these little white orbs that form in there as well. And so you hit those, and then
you're making this up.
No, it's
That's
Pac-Man.
not real.
It's like WoW's
That's
version
true.
of Pac-Man. It's crazy.
What?
So yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty neat. It's a fun fight. And you actually, instead of everybody grouping up, what we did anyway to defeat it was to actually split the group into two, and so that we could get these fissures that are sprouting up all over the room a little bit better. So
I like that in a
it's a
heroic
cool fight.
encounter. I like that in certain heroic fights. There's like a whole nother phase. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't experience that normal, like because frankly that just sounds crazy.
Right.
But
No,
I
it
think
really
that's
does.
awesome.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And we were also actually talking about going to more than 4 hours a week.
We discussed it, yeah.
We've discussed it anyway. We're not moving quickly on it. We still got plenty of time with Siege of Orgrimmar, but we've discussed it. And about moving further into Warlords, about going more than 4 hours a week as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever said that on this show, but we only raid 4 hours a week.
Yeah, it would really hurt that bit. So we're thinking of doing 2 nights a week, but just 2 hours each night. So
right.
Just
that way.
an hour and a half of actual raiding.
Yes. Just for the bit, really.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Just to make sure. Yeah, I got to keep the bit going. I don't know.
I also have been leveling my rogue still. I think I hit 88, maybe.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Ooh. So going right through that. And I guess when that's done, I'll only have a DK and a warrior left. And by then, spoiler, the pre-order on Warlords of Destruction will come out, or Draenors, rather.
Warlords of Destruction.
I was thinking
I like that one better. I like that one better. Warlords of Destruction. It's an 80s tribute band.
Lords of Destruction.
That's right.
Was the Diablo expansion.
Warlords!
Got that from. But when that comes out, I'll get 2 more 90s. So maybe I'll use a DK and a warrior for that.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Woo!
Colt, how about you? What's been going on with you, man?
Well, old Coltrane has himself a story.
Oh, boy.
Now, in life, there are moments where you're up, and there are moments when you are down. And frankly, in my opinion, that's what makes life interesting. Because if things were always perfect, you would never know it was.
Then it'd be my life.
Then it'd be your life. Right. That's right. So, back in the day, I've talked about this on the show. Years and years ago, I went to BlizzCon, and I received the Murloc Marine, the Grunty, the card.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
And I went home and I was so excited. It was grunty. His face is like close up in the helmet. Like what a great little detail. And I was so jazzed to get grunty and fired up. And I didn't have a quarter. What am I going to do? I don't have a quarter. I got to scratch this code.
Yes.
So I used my car keys. And I scratched so quickly and so hard that I scratched off the code.
Right.
And I was not able to redeem the Murloc Marine Grunty. So it's pretty bad because then the next day I log in game and everyone's got it and he's shooting the rockets and everyone's happy and
right.
Like I scratched off the last like 8 numbers and I tried every tens of thousands of combinations. Yeah, it's devastating.
And for that week you got this
Dork of the Week.
You really did.
Yes. Really did. So the other day I get a knock at the door. Doorbell rings. I run to it. And outside of my door is a single white envelope, as shown here. And it's addressed to me, Goldtrain, and there's no return address. It's just sent to me.
Huh.
And there's no return address.
Huh.
And inside the envelope is this.
Whoa!
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
But that, my friend, is Grunty, the Murloc Marine. Yeah! Yes! Did you believe it?
That's cool, man.
I flipped out, and there was no return address.
Wow.
So whoever you are, thank you.
Number one, how do you know where he lives?
That's also kind of creepy and crazy.
Right.
But there was no return address, so the only thing I can do is blame Celestalon.
Oh, what?
Blame Celestalon, Celestalon.
I was not prepared for that one.
Well,
I had the volume up this time, but I was not prepared for you to blame Celestalon at the end. That's just crazy.
Who else can I blame? There's no one else. There's no return address. I can't blame somebody for this, so I'm blaming Celestalon.
I suppose that makes the most sense out of anything. Remember, guys, if you don't have anybody to blame, just blame Celestalon.
That's right.
I'd say you could probably put Coltrane on a letter and just put it in a mailbox, and it would show up at your house.
That's right.
Yeah, that might actually work.
That's what you gotta write.
People
just
know
write
you.
Coltrane. Yeah,
I'm in shock, man. So no, I have not scratched the code yet. I'm gonna use like some nice silk and like some kind of smooth. Maybe start with a little bit of soap, like ease into it. I am not screwing this one up. So thank you so much. This is a big deal. I'm very, very excited. So I mean, just don't give up hope, people. I mean, one day.
That's what it is. It's don't give up hope.
That's right. I mean, unless you're an actor out here in Hollywood, just forget it.
Then you're screwed.
Right. Not going to be serving a table, and Tom Hanks is going to be like, "Can I have some more bread?" And you're going to go, "Here's your bread, Tom Hanks." You'd be like, "Oh my gosh, get me your number. You'll be in my next movie." Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So don't give up hope unless you're an actor in Los Angeles. But very excited about this. So I'm going to redeem this bad boy today, and I can't wait. Can you believe it?
That's cool. Congrats, man.
So thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Just when you scratch the code off, can you just hold it up to the camera so I can just make sure it's a valid code?
Yes, exactly. Before I redeem it, I'll be like, all right, look, see, that's a real code there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Right.
Is that a 6 or a 5? What is that?
Oh, I just can't believe it, man. I cannot believe it.
That's cool.
Just going to take a moment here and just stare at it.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'll tell you about what happened with me. So this week, got the priest up to level 81. Is that right? No. I'm up actually higher than that. It was higher than that.
81.
No, it's 81.
81
on
or
82.
Priest, so I think you can solo Tot now.
Pretty much. I think that's actually the case.
Probably out-heal heroic gear druid at that level.
No, that I can't do. So one of the weird things was this week that I was kind of out doing my thing, and in trade chat somebody was looking for a healer for Flex. I can't remember which wing it was or whatever, but they were looking for somebody with an eye level of 550.
What?
550
for Flex?
For Flex, for a healer.
What?
And I was like, what do you mean 550? You want somebody who has like all the normal gear to come in for Flex just so that you can guarantee that you're not gonna wipe or something? I don't know. Exactly
I've read stories recently where people have been using tactics like this in open raid, demanding people be at least 550, 560 for Flex. And they kick anybody that's not, so that they can bring in 2 or 3 of their friends or lower geared alts that just hit 90 and be guaranteed a clear in like a 430 on a tune that's like 430 eye level with other people carrying them. So this is a big problem. Yeah, I've been reading about this on the forums and Reddit.
Yeah,
that sounds like a fantastic idea. I mean, terrible, awful.
Right.
Wow.
This is a problem. Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of understand that nobody wants to wipe and all this kind of stuff on Flex mode stuff, and they just want to get through it fairly quickly and everything. But I think that's a little ridiculous. Saying 550 for for being able to win item level 540 gear. That seems a little strange.
Exactly. Like we're looking for one healer that's not going to need any gear in here at all.
That's right.
It's here to carry
Not
my
only will
buddy.
you not need gear, but you'll also be bored because it'll be too easy for you. I don't get it. But it was funny because that night I was looking at the Twitter and Watcher. Remember Ian Hazzikostas? He's now on Twitter.
Yes.
And he was talking about this, and he said that average successful flex groups for Wings 1 and 2 has an eye level in the 530s.
Yes.
540s for 3 and 4, though it's doable with less. And then he went on to say, just because people may seemingly want heroic gear when they look for more for flex, doesn't mean they're actually getting that many.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of funny as well. That he's like, yeah, just because people are asking for 550, 560 gear, doesn't mean they're getting it. So
are we saying that if people are asking these outrageous amounts, you still whisper them and be like, look, I'm a healer and I'm at 5 whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll probably take you versus nothing.
Right. I mean, it's a matter of speed, right? So it's like if you say, hey, this is my alt, it's 530 geared or whatever, but I know the fights and I know how to heal, so get me in there.
Right.
And see what they say.
This has been going on since the Wrath days. I remember there was that add-on like Gear Score that came out.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was awful.
Cow. That was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
maybe
now
they get rid of. Do they get rid of eye levels? Like, does that help? Would that help?
They'd have to get rid of eye levels on gear, and you wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
Right.
Well, and another thing that Ian said on Twitter was, it turns out that a lot of people want to be carried, given the chance.
Many people. He says it twice.
Regardless of the tuning level. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, and this has been going on for years and years, guys. Yeah. So this shouldn't be anything new.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, the stuff I was reading, though, was saying that it's happening a lot more on Open Raid, that Open Raid's kind of been infected with this whole carry me mentality. Yeah. Less so, let's do an achievement run, or let's just clear. It's gotten to where it's just I use Open Raid to get new tunes carried through, which is a bummer because that's not what it should be about.
No, it shouldn't. It should be about getting loot. That's all it should be about. It should always be about getting loot.
Yes.
Speaking of loot, before we get into raid news, I've got a couple of things for you. Speaking of loot, though, Darius, you have a new mount, don't you?
It's possible.
Because you have a problem.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What mount did you get this week?
It's just dragon. It's got 2 heads. I don't know. It's the Iron Sky Reaver
and afterburners, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was
insane.
There was a story where it got leaked on a few servers. You could on a couple servers that got rebooted for hot fixes or things like that. You could go on and the store would be up with this mount on it, and they quickly fixed it. But I was reading that, and as I was reading it, I was creating tunes on those servers to try to get in before they fixed it. But yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one of those things.
I looked at it. Someone had mentioned it in guild chat when I was buying it, and I pulled up the store in game, and they put a little green check mark next to everything you own. And I was scrolling through, and I was like, "That's weird. They all have green check marks. Maybe mine's broken."
Nope.
Aries.
Yeah.
It's got a problem.
Coltrane, do you have the same problem?
I don't have this mount yet.
Right.
I mean, yet. But it looks awesome. I mean, a thing with 2 heads and afterburners. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Although, does that break, like, lore?
Well, everything breaks lore. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, afterburners. I don't know.
They have the engineer mounts, and they have all that other stuff, and they have the sky golem for crying out loud.
Well, then let me ask you this, because on walk. Wait, I'm sorry. I gotta tee it up here.
Go ahead. Tee it up.
On my monk named Walk Fu.
We will walk Fu.
Yeah. Woo!
Yes.
All right. I said in old guild chat, looking for frying pans because his name's Wok Fu, right?
Right.
So how cool would it be if Wok Fu was dual wielding frying pans? So it turns out in the game, you can get a frying pan, and it's actually got some eggs in it. It's awesome. It's got eggs literally in the frying pan.
Nice.
It's called like the Spider's Mace of Spider something. It's a quest reward. So I get this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to transmog this now. And it says, item cannot be transmogrified.
I know.
And I remember back in the day when they were talking about this, like, oh, well, we can't have people walking around wearing frying pans. That's ridiculous. Or using frying pans. That's crazy. Oh, but afterburners on a dragon is fine. So I'm just saying, shouldn't they allow that to be transmogrified? I mean, I don't know. I'm speaking selfishly.
Right. Of course you are.
But at this point, haven't we just like gone past it's the Middle Ages and all that stuff in this game? Haven't we gone past that at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should be allowed to be silly. If we want to be.
Sure. I mean, Hilton is in the game.
Right.
It should be, if you max out your cooking in all the different ways and you're also a panda, you can unlock a frying pan.
Can you imagine? I have like the chef's hat, I'm the panda, and I got 2 frying pans as Wok Fu? Are you kidding me? Oh,
wow.
So amazing.
Wow.
All right, I got to settle down. I'm getting really worked up over these frying pans with eggs in them.
You do. Hey, and one other thing before we get into the news is that I want to talk to you guys about the CTR Guild, and because this is kind of a big deal right now. It was a year ago that we started the Convert to Raid Guild on Aerie Peak. And big congratulations to and thank you to everybody out there that has made the guild a success.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. And when we started this thing a year ago, we were like, oh, nobody's gonna come. It's fine. It's totally fine. Nobody's ever gonna join us.
Get a couple hundred people at most.
That's what I thought. At most, we'd get like maybe 200.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And this community has really grown leaps and bounds above what I ever thought it could, and it did so like right away.
Right.
And so thank you guys for coming over to the CTR guilds in Aerie Peak. And we do have a letter here because I know that some of you guys aren't familiar with it. Colt, can you read this letter?
Sure. It says from Kitten Mitten.
Nitten.
From Nitten.
Yeah.
Suramar EU says it sounds as though CTR is actually multiple guilds, but is one guild. How does that work?
Mind blown.
Mind blown. I live on a really small server, and I'm a member of one of the bigger guilds on the server. I think we have fewer than 40 human beings behind the 300 characters that are members of my guild. A guild on that scale of yours boggles my mind.
Mind boggled.
Boom.
Mine too.
So Darius, how does that work?
So a couple of years ago, Blizzard implemented a cap on guild sizes. 999 people is the most you can have in a guild. So because we have 6,000 or 7,000 members of the guild, we have to have 6, 7, or 8. I think 9 now. 8.
Yeah.
We have 8 total guilds, so we have a max of 8,000 people roughly. And we have a bunch of add-ons, including Greenwall, which links all of the guild chats together so people can talk and see each other if they want. But we also have a lot of officers to manage all of it. We have the website and all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty big undertaking to make sure that you've got 8 guilds that all act as one guild.
Yeah.
We do a lot to make sure that no matter what guild you're in, you can still have fun with anyone.
And I really want to thank all the people behind the scenes that make this happen, because it is such a big undertaking. We've had to develop like all of these systems over the last year, and we've done so with varying degrees of success. But we've kind of got a system going where it's at least sustainable, I think, at present. But thank you guys to everybody that's working behind the scenes, from the people that are in our welcome committee, those that are inviting new folks, to our event staff, to our bankers. And yes, we have multiple bankers, our raid liaisons, which do an incredible job, because we have everybody can make their own team, right? So we have 90 plus raid teams. So it's ridiculous.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
Where did you people all come from?
I know.
Where?
Exactly. This is crazy. And then we also have, like the IT guys. Darius, you're heading that part up, and the guys that are working on how we can communicate with all of our members and be fairly efficient at it, and all the other officers behind the scenes that are doing all sorts of different things. So,
and Zug, dude, seriously, to you as well, man, for being an amazing GM. You're doing an incredible job.
I'm just a talking head. That's all I am.
I've never seen him actually do anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just tell other people what to do.
He's just there
you're
to
really doing a
invite
great
my
job,
alts.
man.
Thank you very much. But I mean, this is a team effort, and thank you guys, and to all the members too. Thank you guys for joining us around the globe. And it's been a really special year. So thank you.
It is. And to the members too, because a lot of the environment is very positive and very fun, and everyone's encouraging and talking to each other. And that Greenwall Lowdown is amazing, that all of these sub-guilds can all talk in one guild chat. So it's really also, like the members are what make CTR really work, because you guys are great. So if you guys were a bunch of jerks, then it would not work, and you're not. So
right.
It's like all the nice people are in CTR. It's really great.
It's cool. It's cool. And this week we have a whole list of events that are going to be going on to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. And you can always jump on our forums, go to the CTR guild section. And the CTR events in there, and there's a whole section breakout of what's going on for the anniversary. So feel free to do that. We have a bunch of cool prizes that we're giving away too, including free game time for a year.
What?
Yeah.
Insanity.
That cost me a lot. I had to pay month to month for someone. Jeez, I don't know.
We actually have 2 of these that were given away, and thanks to Blizzard for chipping in. They gave us a couple of years to give away. That's very cool. And we have Sky Golem mounts from people that have donated. We have pets, bags, the huge ones, and other in-game items and all sorts of stuff that you guys can win this week as we do our anniversary events. And, we continue that throughout the year. So, I mean, we continually do a series of events. So check it out over on our forums.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. And, I know that we're going on and on about the guild, and we should move into news, but it blows me away. It really blows me away. So
it's pretty crazy.
It's really crazy.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you very much. And now, before we get into news, just one more thing, and that is I want to talk about Netflix.
Woo!
That's right. So Netflix, you can get a free 30-day trial just by going to ctrdeal.com/Netflix. And the thing that I want to bring up this week is the Golden Globes were a week ago, right?
Yes.
And House of Cards, Robin Wright actually won for Best Actress. And that's original programming from Netflix. And that just kind of shows you the degree of quality of the programming there. I've been watching Lilyhammer. I just got into it.
Right.
Another one, and it's a mob boss in Norway.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to do.
It's the craziest thing. It's this American mob boss that gets relocated to Norway, to Lilyhammer, and starts up his own mob there. Great. Perfect.
They just added on Netflix, if you haven't seen it, the entire first 3 seasons of An Idiot Abroad, which is a hilarious show. It's with Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and this guy named Carl Pilkington. Yeah. And he just travels the world, just angry at everything.
Yeah.
Just
he's the best.
It is hilarious. It is so funny to watch. I suggest if you're looking for a good funny show to watch, it's not offensive. It's it's just
sometimes it can be, but because they poke fun at that guy pretty bad.
Yeah, but I think they do a good job keeping it PG. Yep. But I mean, he travels to beautiful places around the world. So
sure,
if you like travel shows and stuff, it's good. But it's also hilarious. It's An Idiot Abroad. They just added that I think 3 days ago to Netflix.
That's funny.
So watch it.
That's funny. I keep on going back to all of their original programming. In like Hemlock Grove, I watched this summer, and that was gross.
Yes.
Extremely gross.
Well, the lady train and I, we got Netflix. We finally took the plunge because of House of Cards. And that's,
really?
In my opinion, House of Cards is the reason. It's like Halo for Xbox. Like, you get an Xbox to play Halo. You get Netflix to watch House of Cards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's great. It's a great show.
They've got a new season coming up in right around Valentine's Day. So more binge watching for House of Cards right there.
Yes.
So make sure to check out our deal, which is ctrdeal.com/Netflix. Free 30-day trial. And you can get, House of Cards right on the stream. So there we go. All right. Let's move it into some raiding news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening in raiding news around World of Warcraft. And first up, Ghostcrawler is back in the news. He's back in the news.
What?
Because we found out where he landed. If you remember in November, Ghostcrawler said that he was leaving, like right after BlizzCon. And and we found out where he's going. And he is going to be, or actually he is, a lead game designer at Riot.
What?
Dun, dun, dun.
What?
Yeah.
What game do those guys make? I've never heard of them before.
Some new free-to-play noob sauce game.
Right.
Oh.
Never. I don't think. I heard it might be catching on, maybe.
Bummer. It sounds like a downgrade for him. That's too bad.
League of something.
Right.
League of Lols.
League of Lols.
League of Lols.
That's it. That's it. And they found out because he updated his LinkedIn profile.
That's right.
If I was him, I would just update that constantly just to troll people.
Just to mess with people.
Yeah.
Right.
Like lead designer on Half-Life 3 at Valve. Or something.
But does this move really surprise anybody here?
No. I think we called it a couple days ago.
Like two or 3 days ago, we called it. We totally called it.
Yep.
This is an example too. LinkedIn, social media.
Right.
There's
more
clues
social media. Right. Oh,
in social media.
Who cracked the case, Coltrane?
Well, there might be a certain tabby, a certain cat, who might also be a detective. He wears a fedora and a trench coat, and he goes by the name of Mr. Magoops.
The name's Magoops, Mr. Magoops. I'm a cat detective serving the greater Los Angeles area litter box, and this is my story.
Mr. Magoops and the case of the crawling ghost.
It was 6:15 when I got the call. The phone lit up like a laser pen shining on the living room floor. This is Magoops. Yeah, send her up. Little did I know what was about to walk through that door was trouble, and the biggest case of my career. Like stepping through a poop-filled litter box, I was going to have to tread carefully.
Hello, Mr. Magoops. I'm Trixie.
Her fur was white, like the color of fresh milk. She was a short hair, just the way I like it. And she had eyes that said, "Hey, why don't you scratch these curtains?"
We need your help, Magoops. Ghostcrawler just left Blizzard, and the whole town's gone crazy.
Relax, dollface. You look tense. There's a scratch post in the corner.
We need to find out where he's going. Some think it's Wildstar, but that just doesn't feel right.
Well, what makes you think I'm the cat for the job?
Because you're Magoops, Mr. Magoops. There's no other cat like you.
You're damn right. I'll take the case, Trixie. But first, I need to give myself a bath. I've got sand stuck between my toes.
Oh, Magoops.
The first thing to do was to check social media. I'd heard reports that Ghostcrawler joined Twitter this year. Some type of bird app. Interesting. Ghostcrawler only follows 25 people. That's a pretty exact list. Every single one of them either works for Blizzard or is somehow affiliated with World of Warcraft. That is all except one. Morello. At Riot Morello. Interesting. Why would Ghostcrawler be following one of the top guys at Riot? Why is Morello the only one not at Blizzard? And why do I love chasing strings so much? This has got to be it. Ghostcrawler is going to Riot. When I got back to the office, my stomach was growling for crunchies. But it looked like the only thing on the menu that night was Trixie.
Hey, Magoops, you're back!
Ghostcrawler is going to Riot, Trixie.
Riot? For League of Legends? Oh my god! Thank you, Mr. Magoops. How can I ever repay you?
I'm not the sort of tabby you want to get mixed up with. But I wouldn't mind a little late-night prowl around the neighborhood.
Oh, Magoops. Your little box or mine?
Case closed.
Yeah! Oh, Goofy.
Magoops!
Mr. Magoops.
Mr. Magoops.
He's always on the case.
He is. He's always on the case. Cat detective.
That's funny.
Woo.
Oh,
It's weird that he sounds a lot like you. I mean,
What?
maybe living with someone for a long time, you start to sound like them.
yeah, you know.
It's Magoops.
And Coltrane kind of looks like Magoops, so it's, you know, it kind of works out both ways.
I don't have the
that's
handsomeness of Mr. Magoops. In fact, Mr. Magoops actually joined Twitter, and you can follow him at Mr. Magoops, MrMagoops.
What?
Yes, he joined Twitter. I don't know, man. He came up to me and he went meow meow, and he showed me the Twitter because he got involved with the social media trying to find out where Greg's going, and well, he joined Twitter. So I don't know. You'll have to talk to Magoops about that one.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes.
I don't like.
But we actually predicted this.
Yeah.
On December 2nd of 2014.
Right.
So I mean, are we? I don't know. Are we the first? Are we not? I don't know.
I like to think so.
Yes.
But I don't. And I think we were all in agreement, right? I mean, we all kind of said Riot for different reasons. You said it, Coltrane, because of Mr. Magoops. He spelled it out with his in the litter box.
He did.
And I was saying it because I don't know of another company that could really be able to give him everything that he needs. So that's the only thing that I could think of. Darius, were you thinking the same thing?
I mean, I didn't think he would. I thought he would go someplace else. I think the fact that he was following someone on Riot and it kind of, everyone was coming to all these conclusions and having all this evidence and whatnot. But I really was kind of hoping he'd go someplace else, do something different, and make a big splash somewhere else. With some weird, no name studio or something, and come up with something great and unique and new. But,
sure.
I mean, this is good too. He'll do an amazing job there. So good for him.
Right. And we actually have some stuff from Morello, from Riot Morello, and on the forums. It's basically the curse equivalent for League, and he was saying that Ghostcrawler is actually some much needed help on the leadership side. It's just too much for any one person there to handle and make the progress that he would like to see. A lot of things we want to focus on with game health this year, and it's primarily fixing some old problems. So I'm guessing that Ghostcrawler is going to be getting his hands dirty with fixing some stuff around there. Sounds cool.
Absolutely.
Maybe they can do something with the toxic community over there.
What? They don't.
There are rumors that it may be a little bit tough over there.
What are you talking about? Oh, by the way, we predicted on December 2nd, 2013. Not 2014, like I said.
You said 2014?
I said 2014.
I didn't,
because I accidentally wrote 2014, and I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just write whatever's written in the show notes. I read, and it's just a big giant mess. So
don't put a question mark at the end.
Yes, exactly. Burgundy. But I'm excited, man. I think Riot will be a great place for him. I know he was we'll see how that goes with League of Legends, because you're absolutely right. You know, that community can be a strange one. So let's see how it goes for him. But, you know, change is always good. Change is good for the soul.
Yeah.
And in fact, actually, he tweeted exactly that. So I think all of us here, we wish him the best at Riot, and it's exciting things for the future. So
Absolutely.
we'll see.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk some WoW. Now, is Warlords of Draenor coming soon to closed beta?
What?
Is it?
Should put the quotes around soon.
Yeah, well, the little TM, trademark symbol.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a new post from on the WoW website, and it was entitled Warlords of Draenor Scouting Report. And I've got some highlights here that I'd like to share with you guys. First of all, Warlords of Draenor will be available for pre-purchase digitally soon. TM.
Dun, dun, dun. TM.
And at the time of pre-purchase, you'll get your exclusive pet and mount right away. And you'll also get your 90.
What?
You're gonna get your 90.
Oh my gosh!
Your free 90. Your boost to 90. You're gonna get it. Ooh. And they're talking about closed beta very soon. Sounds like it's on the horizon. And it sounds like everything is getting amped up like right now to be able to go closed beta.
Oh.
And they also confirmed last week we were talking about how that it was a possibility about character upgrades, doing this boost to 90 and paying for it, and they have said that they are testing it out. So they confirmed that.
Now, is that means like being able to like boost your alts to 90?
Right. So being able to pay for a level 90 boost for your alts, because they don't want people to have to go out and buy, you know, the box all over again, or other copies.
They acknowledge the fact that people will go out and they'll buy multiple copies, or they'll do refer a friend. They'll do all these weird tricks in order to get themselves a quick 90.
Right.
And they acknowledge that and said, we don't want people to have to do that anymore, which I think is a really, really big step in saying that, you know, we know people are spending more money than they should. Really, and having to jump through all these hoops. So let's see if we can centralize that, fix it, and make it easier.
See, now I think it's kind of like the pet and mount store. It's just so damn easy to do.
Right.
Why not make it available? Because then people will just go, oh, it's just a click away.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a new 90 now. How much did I spend?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. How much did you spend? Now, Darius, you spent $15 on all those Helm transmogs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
I did? Jeez.
Yes, you did, actually. And you admitted it on the show.
Right.
So what would you guys pay? What would you guys pay for a 90?
Oh.
Like, what do you think the price would be?
We were talking about this last week a little bit. And I think, what did you say, Darius? Like $40?
It has to be cheaper than a copy of whatever the expansion is.
Right.
So,
and porting that character to your main account, right?
Well, I mean, not even. I mean, that's $10, or you just, you know, you can have multiple accounts, or however you end up doing it. But I think the problem they'll run into, though, is if they price it underneath that is in, you know, a year when Draenor is, you know, $19.95 at the Best Buy, you know, but a new 90 is $35, you know, then we're right back to that situation where, all right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy another copy of the game. You know, I'm going to stick it on a third account, then I'm going to transfer it over, you know, this whole convoluted process of getting this quick 90.
Yeah, but that's years away. Like, we can't be like, well, it'll be in the bargain bin, you know,
right.
At some point.
I'm willing to bet we'd see it in less than a year. You know, you always see around Christmas these flash sales, or these big sales that Blizzard will do, where every expansion up to this point is $5, and then this one is $20 or something like that. Or again, Best Buy will do it, or a GameStop or something like that. So, you know, they need to keep up with that if they're going to give me a free 90, or pay a buyable 90 at $35, but I can buy another copy of the expansion for $20. I'm going to go buy the expansion for $20, and then their whole system in game is out the window.
Right.
Well, I think you're smoking the peyote a little bit. I think you taking a big drag at the old drag race, if you know what I'm saying.
Whoa.
You're totally right. But that's like in the future. Like what I'm wondering about is now, baby. I'm talking about now jazz. Like what kind of jazz are we talking?
I think $35 to $40 sounds, I mean, to me, just because I look at the way that prices are right now, you know, pets $10, mounts $25, server transfer and faction change is $55. Damn it! So I think it has to fall below that, below the transfers, but above a mount somewhere. So I think $35 to $40 sounds about right.
Right.
I'm gonna say $5.
I'm gonna go with $1, Bob.
I'm gonna go with $1, Bob.
Yeah. You give everyone all the 90s for all the classes, and what's everyone gonna do? They're gonna keep their subscription up, and they're gonna play all of them. So
Well,
keep people around longer.
I gotta admit, like, I want to play other characters. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do the warrior. I want to check out the rogue.
I know.
Like, that's exciting. You know what I mean?
I know. Tell me about it. And especially with the big announcement this week was that we're going to get our new 90 before the expansion actually drops.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is incredible. So that has kind of made me like, oh, what do I want to play now? What do I want to play now that would be like a level 90 that I don't have already? And, you know, I have the priest at 81, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. But I mean, maybe there's something else like a warrior or a rogue. I actually created a rogue this week, Shenanigans, because it seemed fitting.
The name is Shenanigans.
Yeah, but it's like shin, like your shin, because they're short. It's
I gotta admit that's a pretty clever rogue name. I can tip my hat to you on that one, sir.
Thank you.
Like you were just killed by shenanigans. It's hilarious.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
So I created that rogue this week, but you know, it's like, okay, well, I don't know. What do you want? What Coltrane, does this kind of change your mind on what you were thinking about getting for warlords, or as far as your free 90 goes, or
well,
what?
I mean, I like it that we'll be able to pay for like alts. Like I dig this. Like I don't have a rogue. I always want to play a rogue. I've got a priest. Well, my priest is like level 20 something. So I'd like to check out a priest.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many classes, you know, and then with warlords, I dig it that it's available now. I think that's a great thing. I think Timeless Isle, by the way, is going to get busy again.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
And I'm excited because I got all this extra gear. I got all this extra cloth. You know, Timeless Isle drops and like, oh, well, now I can give it to my priest, you know?
Right.
So I'm jazzed, man, because I'm a guy, I like checking out other classes. I like playing. I think that's one of the reasons WoW has been so successful and continues to be is it's different. You know what I mean? Between Horde and Alliance, you got all these different classes. They all feel different. And then you've got different specs and they all feel different in each spec. There's so many things. So I'm jazzed about this, man. Yep. But I think I want to do a rogue for sure, and I want to check out a priest because Dairies, everyone keeps talking about priests. Everyone loves them some priests.
I think they're just going to get rid of all the other classes in Draenor. It's just going to be priests.
They should.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right, priests and warlocks. That'll be it.
That's just priests. No warlocks.
That's right.
All right. So now they also said in the post that you might be able to get your legendary cloak on this new 90 that you don't have yet. And is not even available yet.
What?
So they said that maybe you could get your legendary cloak before Warlords.
What?
That was one of the phrases that they had on there, and I don't like this.
What?
This Darius.
Oh my gosh.
Darius, how long does it take to get a legendary cloak?
I mean, if you're quick and lucky, a month.
What about average?
Crazy.
No, a month. No.
On average, 2 or 3 months. I'd say
you can't do that because there's that whole 3,000 valor point thing,
which takes 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then those huge gathering things from raiding.
They don't take that long now.
They don't take months and months, but they're going to take some time.
You can finish the first part. The 10 sigils of wisdom and power in a week now, in just one clear, because they drop like candy if you go through all of the raids from Mogreshan all the way through.
Well, that's good.
I'm putting these shades back on because Darius is once again back at the drag race. Holy cow!
That's right. It's gonna take some time.
It up.
It's going to take some time to get a legendary cloak for a new 90.
I think what they meant by this, though, is that when you buy your 90, it just comes with the cloak.
That'd be awesome.
That's insane.
That would be great. I'd like that.
Oh my God. You know what? Then what I would do, I'd stop right now. I'm 10 out of 20 on Secrets of the Empire. And I can tell you this, man. On my monk, I've been going since 5.4, and I still don't have it. So I would say for a normal player, like you're saying cap on Valor, that's 3 weeks. That's assuming that they're going to cap every single week.
Right.
But a normal player doesn't have time possibly to cap Valor every single week. I've been on this thing forever. I'm only 10 out of 20 of the secrets. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think it definitely, in my opinion, takes a heck of a lot longer than that. I think it could be a shorter process if you've got tons of time in game and it's like you're cranking out and you're capping Valor every week.
Yeah.
But to the average Joe, woo, it's a little bit longer than 3 months, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think 3 months is probably, maybe, I mean, you know, if the sigils are dropping like candy, like you say, and everything kind of lines up and you're able to play quite a bit on it, 3 months maybe, yeah.
And I don't mean to disagree with you, Darius. I mean, what you're saying is correct if you're like hard, you know, if you're going at it, if you're capping every week. But, you know, to the average Joe, right. I just don't know if they're able to do that.
Right.
You know,
then there's the PvP stuff. And for raiders, I mean, PvP just doesn't make sense. So you gotta...
You're just the, you know, you got to be the voice of the most casualist person. So
I am the voice of the people. It's the people.
Oh man. All right.
I think it'll be great once everyone's got, I mean, most people have a legendary cloak on one tune or another now, but you know, it's going to feel weird when Warlords hits, you go into that first questing area, you've got your eye level 600 cloak, and then the item squish happens and you replace it with an eye level 59 green.
That's right. That's right. Like your first quest reward will probably, I mean, I would assume that, you know, it'll last you for the first 3, you know, 4 levels. Like that's typically how these things work. Like heroic level raiders, they don't end up replacing their gear till after the, you know, it usually lasts them for like 3, 4, 5 levels before they finally replace it. Right. So I don't think that we're going to replace our legendary with the very first quest reward. We might. I mean, who knows? Right. But I mean, that's the thing is like everyone's like, if this new 90, if you get the legendary, everyone's freaked out. You spend so much time and all that stuff. But you're right. In Warlords, we're going to be replacing this thing quick. So
with lower eye level items too, because of the item squish. That's
are they changing the actual numbers on the eye levels, or are they just squishing the
that's what it was on the beta that we played in.
Okay.
At BlizzCon, they were all lower eye levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that's going to work for like the BOA weapons and things like that. I mean, those are going to stay, you know, 561 or whatever they are.
But I just wonder if they're going to squish everything to those same numbers, or if they're going to. I don't know. I mean, that's just like a little.
So I thought it was just new gear was being squished or something like that,
which seems a little strange to me. So
I mean, I don't know how they would do it.
I don't know how it's going to work either. I guess.
Would you guys freak out? Those new 90s, man, got themselves a legendary. Would you guys freak out?
If they did it?
No.
Or if they came with it?
Yeah.
If they came with a legendary, I'd like it.
I think it's at this point awesome. It's pretty well solidified that it's the people's legendary.
Right.
It's not, you know, as much a legendary as some other things have been in the past. So to buy a 90 and have it come with the cloak, I think
that would be,
that's nice incentive. It's incentive.
I would like it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they still need that carrot and stick out there. So, you know, the carrot, trying to get that legendary before the end of Warlords and trying to get your new 90 into raiding gear. That'd be, I think it's going to really extend the life of the expansion for a while, because I mean, you'll have a new 90 to play with.
Oh yeah, but I'm also wondering too, because Blizzard mentioned about with this character boost of 90 that they would do something similar to what they did with Death Knights, where in the Death Knight starting zone, you would like learn new abilities kind of as you leveled up. Because imagine you get your fresh 90, like me, I got my priest, right? Holy Nova, like what are you talking about? What is this? I got a whole ability book of whatever, and penance and who, and you know what I'm saying? So are they going to do that? Like I imagine that in Warlords, but like, what do you get, a fresh 90, and then what do? Do you go to a proving ground and you learn some new abilities?
Yeah, you can see like every wave you finish in proving ground, you get a new spell or something that's applicable to the mob that you fight in the next
I
wave.
think they're going to have to come up with something, but
like a teaching thing. Is that what you're saying? Like they'll teach you, because you're right. I mean, they got to teach you how to play a new class, because look, for any player, that's intimidating. You got a fresh 90 and here you go, and you open up your spell book and it's like 8 pages of who knows what this is.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's what it's going to be is new 90s will cost $5, but each spellbook page is an extra $5. So
yeah,
that's right. Actually, you know,
mages have it easy because they only have one page, so everyone's going to have a mage.
How dare you?
And it just says keybind this to 1 and this one to 2, and you're good to go.
Oh my gosh, mages, don't listen. Earmuffs, mages, earmuffs.
No, actually, there was something kind of cool this week that I saw from Celestalon. And he was replying to somebody and talking about the possibility, and this is not happening anytime soon, but it was just kind of on Twitter. Somebody wanted to get a healing dummy instead of, for training dummies, instead of having to go through the proving grounds, which is kind of more like an instance type of thing, like a dungeon. Have it be more like a raid environment, where you can just have like a healing dummy for raiding, which is also kind of strange. But
like the training dummies outside the shrine and such. I mean,
yeah,
because I don't understand why you would need that, because you can cast heals on anybody you want.
Well, I mean,
including yourself.
But coming up with a system that would involve that somehow, I just thought it was kind of cool.
Isn't that like weird?
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, like
it's
I like
weird.
The healing proving grounds. It's like how it would be in real life.
Well, that's how it would be in a dungeon,
Warcraft.
kind of.
Well, yes, but that's how it's going to be. Your life as a healer is not healing one stationary target. You know what I mean? In the proving grounds, you got members, you got Johnny Awesome, and he's standing in the poo. You got this and that. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. I don't know how it would work, but just the fact that it was kind of being brought up, I'm like, that's kind of an interesting idea. What would that look like? I have no idea what that would look like, but it sounds kind of cool.
But I want it.
I do kind of want it, because I mean, my priest is going to be 90 soon, and I won't know what to do. And you won't tell me anything, Darius, because you're a meanie.
Yeah, Reese.
No, you get nothing.
Right, exactly.
It's a priest. You just penance. I mean,
that's it. Oh,
whole lot of penance.
Cool. All right. Very nice.
Penance.
So
if you penance, you wait 8 seconds. You penance, you wait 8 seconds, and then you laugh at all the other healers who are way below you on the charts.
Yeah, you kind of do. Let's get back to the topic. When do you think that we will be able to see this stuff roll out, as far as being able to buy the next expansion, the pre-order, and getting your level 90? And my guess is that closed beta would be around that same time. Do you guys have any opinions on when we might be seeing something like that based off of this post? Darius, do you have something?
I would say that we'll probably see the pre-order and that kind of stuff go on sale, or at least open. And this is a terrible day for it, but April Fool's Day, April 1st.
Ah, jeez.
That's it's a week after the Diablo 3 expansion. And I don't think we'll see anything until that's done, until they're done working on that and selling that.
But they don't. But they're have different teams working on different stuff. There's a different Diablo.
I know,
section.
but you don't want to separate your news, though. They're going to be gearing up for this expansion with lots of media and probably commercials and all that other kind of stuff, and lots of news and all those kind of things. You don't want to be you don't want people talking about that. That's March 25th.
Okay.
And you don't want people talking about that and then being like, "Oh no, I'm not going to play that. I'm going to play my."
You're just saying you don't, from a marketing standpoint, you don't want to step on your own toe.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want to trip yourself
especially for something that's just a pre-order of a game that's still 6 or 9 months out.
See, and that's why I think it's going to be earlier than March. I think we're looking at February, sometime in February, and then that way it gives it plenty of time to breathe. Colt, how about you?
Yeah, I'd say like Durancis in the chat room said 1 month away, and I agree. Maybe like February, like late February.
That'd be cool.
But I will say Darius brings up a great point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want the hype to be around certain products, not everything at once, because then it's just noise. You want to be like, oh, now we're focused on Diablo, and now we're focused on Warlords of Destruction. You know? So
Warlords of Destruction.
It's a much better name.
That would be great for Metzen to say that. Just as a phrase, just anytime.
That's right.
Oh,
I wonder if Metzen ever had like long hair, like 80s.
All right. We're getting way off track now.
You're
All
right. All right. Led Zeppelin, like crazy hair.
I'm sure he did.
He was younger.
There's got to be a picture of him somewhere.
Gotta be.
Anyway, let's go back into it. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about Siege of Orgrimmar.
Woo!
Ian Hazzikostas has bailed on Twitter, and he went to a forum post. Actually, he didn't bail on it, but
he couldn't do this in 140 characters.
No, he could not do this in 140 characters. There
are nerfs coming, lol.
There are a bunch of nerfs coming this week to Siege. And before you start freaking out, they are targeted nerfs, mainly for 10-mans and not necessarily a lot of heroics. Isn't this right, Darius?
No, I mean, some of these are big changes for heroics.
Well, but there's not a ton of changes for heroics. There are some big changes, but not necessarily a ton of them.
No, there's only a few changes, but they're big in that they're going to help. There's a lot of guilds that are stuck on Siegecrafter and Paragons, and these what seem like tiny changes are actually going to be huge in helping these guilds get past them. So
right.
This is good. This is big. This is exactly what I think they should do. They should, change a little thing here, a little thing there. They know where people are getting stuck. They know what the problems are.
Right.
They have all this data. So if they're far enough along and they feel like it's the time for nerfs, then change a couple things. Don't change everything.
Yeah.
And I like that it's some of these things are heroic only changes. So
yeah, and some of them are flex only. And some of them are 10-man only. And so we're seeing a lot of very specific nerfs coming this week. So, Colt, what do you think about this?
Well, that's just more loot, baby, and that's always a good thing.
Being able to clear bosses, yeah.
That's right. Because, but I like this, and it's like subtle stuff, like reducing the health of this and that. It's like, now, personally, I'm not doing this hardcore heroic rating, so I don't know what this means, but it looks good. Right. I can tell you that. Right. And I know that a lot of people I know who are hardcore heroic level raiders are excited about this because they've been hitting that wall. And it doesn't matter who you are, man. Like, nobody likes to hit a wall and just bash their head against it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. It doesn't matter what kind of a player or what kind of a team. Like, no one likes that. So if there's a little let's just ease off a little bit on this, just so it makes more sense, overall, then that helps a team clear that boss, and that's only a good thing. So
and what we're looking at is Gallicrast, Thok, Siegecrafter, Paragons, and that's it, right? As far as the nerfs go. Darius, is this going to affect the ahead of the curve achievement at all? Do you know?
I don't think so. And they don't mention how much they're nerfing stuff in here, but I'd like to think that it's just, it's a 5% nerf on some of this stuff or something like that. Just enough so that it still feels really difficult, but that it's not completely unforgiving, if you aren't completely prepared for it. Because the guilds that are killing this now aren't Method and Blood Legion and those guilds that have 16 hours on these bosses or whatever it is, 40 hours on these bosses. They don't want to spend that time. They don't have that kind of time.
Right.
So making something not have to be perfectly done but pretty close to perfect, I think makes it challenging enough to keep it heroic.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And just the whole thing about Thok being nerfed and stuff like that just reminded me, we didn't mention this a couple of weeks ago when this happened, but for the Asparagus Initiative, we actually did something kind of weird, and this is Thok normal that we were on when we did it. Darius, what ended up happening with Thok?
We pulled Thok, and we had a pretty poor first Thok phase. So we pushed him, and he was chasing people, and he ended up eating a couple people when he was chasing him. We opened the door. He comes out. I start tanking him, and then we lose a couple more. We're down to, I think, 4 or 5 people. One healer, maybe 2 healers, the 2 tanks, and a DPS. And he was still at like 60% health. And we ended up keeping him there all the way to 99 stacks of acceleration and well into what would have been 100 stacks of acceleration, and just kept him there and just kept healing and keeping everybody up, and we ended up killing the boss.
It was so crazy. We just kept him. We just so like the second phase, after the first chasing scene, we got him and just held him there forever.
Yeah, it was like 5-6 minutes, just held him there.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been hundreds of stacks of this thing, and it was just craziness, and after a while, it just became normal. It wasn't even hard, and it was just like, oh, this is totally easy. Once we get them to 99, this is all we do. Oh, great! So
because we had lost a few people, so there was less people to heal.
Right.
It was easier to just keep everybody up, and it was And then I think
awesome.
Torrentine, who's the raid leader for the group. When we lost a couple of people, he's calling for a wipe, and I was like, "No, we'll just keep going." Kept going and kept going and kept going, and
right, yeah,
and then,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Someone was like, "Oh no, he wipes you at 100 stacks," and I was like, "No, just watch." It's the 99 doesn't keep going, and
that's right,
killed him.
That's right. It was pretty wild.
Awesome.
So that was kind of fun. And big congratulations to Solar Flare, by the way. He downed heroic Gary this week.
Yes.
So congrats, Solar Flare. Woo! All right. Let's talk a little bit more about some stats, some rating stats. More rating stats this week from MMO Champion were released. And this is progression between all difficulty levels. And it's been kind of interesting to watch MMO Champion kind of roll these things out as they do. And we have a graph of basically the percentage of people that have cleared it in LFR all the way to heroic, and it starts off pretty strong and then ends kind of weakish, I think, as it probably should, right?
Yes.
So
that's what I love.
What are we looking at here, Darius? What's going on with the numbers? Break it down for us.
So we're looking at LFR Wing 1 starts out with, you got about 60% of all active raiders. I don't know how they came up with
2.5 million accounts active after November 1st.
So they don't have. That's not counting. The problem with this is you've got 60% of all active players since November 1st, but how many of those people are people that don't raid or just do PvP or whatever. So the number they've got is, though, that 60% of active players have cleared at least Wing 1 in LFR. And then you've got it
a lot, really.
Yeah. I mean that's a pretty good number of people.
Yeah.
But it drops significantly when you look at, even just LFR Wing 4, it drops to 40%. But if you look at just LFR to Flex, Wing 1, you're looking at a difference between almost 65% to about 35%.
Yeah.
So you lose about 30% of the players between LFR and Flex. And then the jump between Flex, Normal, and Heroic is a lot less. You lose about 15%
right
from Flex to Normal.
Right.
That seems, I would have thought those numbers would be different. I would have thought LFR and Flex would have been a lot closer.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem a little strange that LFR is, not that LFR is high. I get it. I understand. It's really easy. You just queue up and you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But between that and Flex, especially after they were talking about how well they think that Flex has done for this expansion. Colt, do you have thoughts on this?
Oh, go ahead, Darius. What were you about to say?
I was just saying we don't have these numbers, and I don't think we ever will. But how much of that 35% that's Flex is coming from LFR, and how much of that is coming from normals? I'd like to know that.
Oh, what's the pairing so that of those guys doing LFR, how many of those guys are doing normals and
No. Of the 65% that are doing LFR and the 19% that are doing normal, in the middle of that is Flex. Flex didn't exist before. So which side are those players coming?
Oh, gotcha.
Are they coming from the normal side, or are they coming from the LFR side? That's what I would like to know. And I think you'd see those numbers closer between, maybe LFR and normal. But that's what I want to know. And again, I don't think I'll ever know that. But I really think Flex has filled a really good spot for these people that are kind of stuck in the middle of that. But I'd like to know. Are people that used to do normals and get stuck and frustrated, are they now doing Flex and having a really good time, or that it's people from LFR that have upped their game and are now doing Flex?
Right.
That's what I want to know. Where are you coming from?
Aries makes my brain hurt.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
It sounds smart, though.
I kind of get it.
No, I know. And he's right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the graph itself, and this is something that I've seen as far as tuning for bosses, and I think it's actually a good thing in that it's a nice slope. You know what I'm saying? It starts off high, and then it slowly comes on down. It's not Rocky Mountains, baby. It's a nice hill. And that's what we want as far as tuning and being able to down these bosses. So.
Right. And I'm just kind of like, I look at the LFR numbers, and I'm just kind of looking at the 30% drop or whatever it is, about 20 some odd drop between Wing 1 and Wing 4.
Right.
And I'm like,
yeah,
really? I mean, I understand that LFR can be kind of a wipe fest these days, but 20 some odd % of people just say, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I won't do it.
I think the mentality, at least it is for me, is that, I queue for LFR 1. I get through. I'm like, that wasn't that bad. And then I get to 2, and I'm like, that was kind of painful. And by the time you get to 4, you're like, I don't even want to finish this. Like, I'm just going to go to bed. So, maybe that's what it is. I mean, it is a little bit harder, but, it is still LFR difficulty. And by then, you're just like, or you're so deep into the spicy water that you can't find where the LFR 4 button is. By that point.
Right. Where's the LFR button? I've had too many gin and tonics tonight.
Get some. LFR.
Oh, man. Yeah, that actually is not a bad theory. I think that works for me. Yeah.
I dig it.
Anything else on these numbers, or are we going to move it along? Because we actually have something for raid leaders out there, and I'm gonna play the sounder. Sure, why not?
Leading the raid.
All right, this time on Leading the Raid, we are gonna take a look at a new tool for raiders and raid leaders out there.
We're not talking about me.
And it can be this new tool is actually it's a mapping tool to allow you to share your strat with your teammates via your internet browser. Is that correct, Aries?
Yeah. So it's the URL is not very good. I think he needs a better URL, but it's tacnet.io. TACNET.io. That's the website, and that's the name. They call it a real-time tactical overview. And what it is it's you go into this website and you tell it what map you want. So it's got everything from Siege of Orgrimmar and Throne of Thunder for WoW. It's also got other games in there too, like League of Legends and Counter-Strike and things like that. But we're just looking at World of Warcraft here, and it's got detailed views and simple views and whatnot. But you load these up, and you give a URL to everyone in your raid group. You can either do this live or you can give it to them after. And what it is, you go on and you look at a top-down view of maybe Gary, his arena, or Mercius, or any of the bosses, and you can add icons to the screen. You can draw on it. You can ping areas. You can do whatever you want to it, but it's all live in real time. So if everyone's sitting on Mumble and you want to explain a specific strat for Garrosh or something like that, you don't have to go and run around the area and try to put down things and try to explain it in this 3D space when you really want a top-down view, or you might want to stick on your forms as a picture. You can go and use this website and in real time, show people what you're thinking about and talk to them in Mumble and show them. And I think it's an amazing idea. It's great for coming up with group strategies, and getting people's input on these kind of things. Or you watch a video and you come up with this awesome strategy, or you want to replicate it. You go to this website. You use the icons to show your raid team members kind of what's going on. And
you can actually like use the icon of a tank to show where your tanks are going to be. And I mean, you can use a bunch of different icons and stuff like
cool.
that. I kind of checked it out. I was gonna throw it up on the video side of things, and then my internet kind of freaked out on me. So I don't want to spend time to figure that out. So
well, no one wants you to throw up. That's
right.
Just
but
let's
that's
not do that.
The address is once again it's tacnet.io, tacnet.io.
Yep.
And you can check it out, and especially if you're running through strats and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's a great little tool, and anything that can help you, come up with a strategy or, help your even if you got a raider that can't quite figure out a mechanic one-on-one. This is so much better than having to go in and hope you have a lockout at that specific boss or trying to run through a dungeon, trying to show them, go to this website and show them and discuss it. And I think this is a great tool. It's completely free. You can make an account if you want and save your things, come back to them and all that. But it's a really cool idea. So check it out.
Yeah. And they used to have an add-on that was like that. I can't remember where you could draw on the screen. You remember that, guys?
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they broke it.
It was
Blizzard broke it. Because people were just...
It was AVG, I think is what it was called. Yeah, people were just using it to draw...
Graffiti. Let's just say graffiti.
Inappropriateness.
It's two straight lines with two circles at the bottom of it.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, people. Oh, internet.
Right.
You'll be the death of us all.
Right. Okay, and with that, I think that does it for the show. We have a couple of questions, and then we'll get the heck out of here. So let's get to it.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have a question about anything for us about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at convertraid@gmail.com or call our raid line, 612-787-RAID, or you can join us during the live show and try to flag us down. We'll see if we can get to it. Now, the first one, Coltrane, can you read this for us, please?
Sure. This is from a Buggenzorg. A Buggenzorg?
Something like that, yes.
A Buggenzorg. He's a Worgen rogue on U.S. Sargeras. Hello, fellow raiders. I'm currently playing a rogue in a pretty successful heroic guild, and I've been wondering a bit about the future of pure DPS in Warlords of Distraction! That's bad, sorry. I apologize. With the new gear system in Warlords, hybrids will be really appealing to raiding groups for being able to fill in for multiple roles. I also think Blizzard already said that they were feeling that there were a bit too many raid cooldowns and that it was somewhat getting out of control. That being said, if they remove the utility from the pures, example, smoke bomb from rogues, don't you think that they would be less attractive for raid groups in favor of a shaman with HTT and AG, for example? What does that mean?
It's a healing tide totem.
And
ancestral guidance.
And ancestral guidance, for example. Yeah. That's what I was saying. What do you think could be done to keep raid groups interested in pure DPS? Just give them a DPS edge over the hybrids? Or do you think that we're more likely to see the hybrids losing their raid cooldowns and only leave those for pure DPS, healers, and tanks? Thanks for the amazing show.
All right. So,
great question.
Thank you for the question. It's great. It is very cool. Now, for those guys that are doing stuff in Mythic raiding content, let's talk about that first, since that is kind of a more balanced approach. 20-man raiding, right, Darius? And so, what do you think about for pures in Mythic raiding, especially?
I think you'll see more things like, there'll be a button in the corner, and it'd be like, only a rogue can kick that button. So then you got to bring a rogue. Unfortunately, no. I think. You'll always have a need for DPS, whether it's a pure DPS or a hybrid or anything like that. You'll always have a need for straight numbers. There'll be enough raid cooldowns. There's always enough raid cooldowns in 25-man to handle most of these things. And I don't think they're going to design the encounters in such a way that it's raid cooldown heavy. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be more mechanics, more, a rogue might have a smoke bomb. So, a smoke bomb is needed for this specific thing, but it might not offer any other utility aside from that. Or I don't think giving them a pure DPS edge over the hybrids is going to do anything, because then you'll just see more pure DPS classes in there just to get the numbers through, if you're trying to beat mechanics or something like that.
Right. Well, and they did say that they really want to tune mythic ratings so that you have to bring one representative of each class at least.
Right.
So I don't think that anything's going to really, quote unquote, happen to pures versus hybrids. I think that they're trying to find what that balance is, but they want that. They want to bring every single class to the party.
Yeah,
so,
like a mage. There's an ability that only a mage could spell steal that somebody else, wouldn't be able to do. But there's an interesting question. Is like, let's say, I'm on the old Windwalker, right? And for this particular fight, it'd be great if we had an extra tank. So since I'm a monk, I can now switch to Brewmaster, and I can provide being an extra tank for this fight to make this encounter easier. Right. Or I could then switch to Mistweaver if we need more heals. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Versus like a pure DPS is just pure DPS.
Right. Well, and I do think that hybrids will play a big part in raiding, but with everything that was said at BlizzCon, I'm kind of like, I don't think the pures are going to be going anywhere.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that's going to be the case at all. So I don't know what they're, as far as raid cooldowns go, I think that, keeping it fairly similar to what it is now is fine. I know that they're going to be taking care of button bloat and things like that. They want to, but I don't see that necessarily affecting raid cooldowns so much. Anyway, any other thoughts here, guys?
Salty Free said that raid cooldowns need to be tank and heal only.
No, I don't agree with that.
Wait, what?
I think all raiders should have a role. It's always more epic. It's always more enjoyable when you've got a ret paladin having to cast something on someone mid-fight, while still pulling big numbers, having to bop someone or right. Something like that, or a shadow priest that's symbiosis tranking or something like that. I mean, it always feels more epic when everybody has contributed in some way other than just standing there and pushing, 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 2.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're riding that line, Master Darius. You're riding that line. I'm assuming you're talking about elemental shaman right now. Elemental shaman. Yes.
Yeah, it's just chain lightning. Right.
Exactly. All right, that's fine. That's okay.
Right. Let's do one more question here, and Darius, can you get this one from Zach?
This is from Zach Geek on the Twitters.
Yep.
And he says, what advice would you give someone who just hit 90 for the first time ever, but wants to raid before Warlords of Destruction? Hashtag CTR show.
Before Warlords of Destruction. Coltrane, what advice would you give to Zach?
Well, you're pretty much screwed. No, I'm kidding. You got nothing to worry about. No, I think obviously if you just hit 90, head on over to the old Timeless Isle. Lots of fun over there. You can get some nice little gear upgrades. And, I've been kind of running into this myself because I switched mains at the end of an expansion. So,
always the smartest thing to do, by the way, switching mains at the end. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the good thing is that there are always people raiding, and there's always people at different types of levels. Get into a flex team. A flex team, really, believe it or not, can give you, in some ways, that sense of raiding, but at a lower, type tier. But I don't know. I would say, obviously, for a fresh 90, as anyone, you want to get some gear first, gear on up. Get you that Timeless Isle stuff will get you into some LFRs. You get some LFR, you can gear up through LFR, work your way into flex and normal.
I have a really hard time with saying that if you are a brand new raider, that LFR is the way to go. Or, go get into LFR, right away, as soon as you can. I almost think that that's not the way that I would approach it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, there are some issues with LFR from time to time, and we want to make sure that everybody's having a good time, right? And one of the best ways that I have a great time in game is by playing with friends. And so I would recommend go get together with a bunch of friends in game and go do like a Throne of Thunder or, whatever. I mean, get all the Timeless Isle gear you can, for sure. Absolutely get that. But then go through some of the other raids, get like Mogashan Vaults, especially if you're brand new to raiding. You don't want to necessarily tax yourself too much. You want to take on something that is still, new for you and somewhat of a challenge, but something that you're not going to have too tough a time with. So maybe like a Mogashan Vaults or a Heart of Fear, Throne of Thunder, some of the older content from this expansion, gather up with some friends and go blast through that stuff and just have a good time.
Yeah, but, that's also, then you got to get a group of friends. And then you got to also not only do that, but convince them to do Throne of Thunder. And, because the majority of people in Sting JC in the chat room said, but no groups are really running anything other than Siege of Orgrimmar right now. Yeah. And I agree with the LFR thing. It's an unfortunate thing. Right now, in order to gear up, you have to run, LFR. This is just something that you just kind of, to help you get that gear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, The other option is you go to open raid and you get carried because you're demanding 550 item level, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
That's the easiest way to go.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Darius? What should somebody do here as a fresh 90?
I think we covered this at the beginning of the show. Just get on open raid or in chat and just say looking for a group of 550s, and then have them carry you through and get all your gear. I mean,
well, besides that,
that's what everyone else does.
What other strat?
I really think you should start at dungeons. Do dungeons. They are fun. They've got some great story in them. It'll be a really good way for you to use all of your spells that you've got now at 90 in a cohesive way, and then work your way up. Do LFRs. Work your way up. There's not a whole lot you can do unless you've already got a group of 9 people. Plus yourself that want to do, tot or something like that. I think that's a great idea, but I don't think that's, you're gonna find a whole lot of luck trying to find 10 people that want to do tot and carry you through.
The nice thing about being able to do some of that older content is that you don't necessarily need 10 people. For Mogashan Vaults, you don't necessarily need all 10 people to be there. You want to make sure your roles are covered, but you don't need 10 people. You can do it with fewer than that, especially if they're well geared with Siege of Orgrimmar gear or something like that. If your friends are raiding and then they go, you know what? Hey, let's do a fun night. Let's do one fun night. Let's go clear some old dungeons some old raids content from earlier in Mists. That's cool. There's usually some retro raids going on for like ICC. Sure. I mean, that's still raiding. That's what I would consider raiding. So I don't have a problem with that either. I mean, you're not going to be necessarily getting, tons of gear for current content or anything like that, but it's still fun with friends, and it's still going through some of the best content in game, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that's some of the greatest stuff ever. So
it's always tough, man. When you hit 90 and you're kind of near towards the end of an expansion, you're always kind of feeling like you're playing catch up. That's kind of how I feel on Wakfu. I'm essentially just playing catch up, and that's always kind of tough. I'm just trying to gear up and catch up to everybody else, but that's my own thing. Right. I switch mains. So
and especially when you're a new player and when you're a new 90, don't put yourself under that pressure. I don't think there's any need to, really. If you've never done raiding before, go in with no expectations of whatever. Just go in and have fun. That should be your only goal.
Yeah.
For somebody that's just starting. I think, Coltrane, you have different set of goals because you've been around the block, so to say.
That's right, since vanilla.
So yeah, I mean, we've been raiding a long time, so it's a little bit different goal. I think you need to make sure that your goals are set properly for where you're at in your
fun,
gameplay.
Baby. That's what it's all about. Fun.
Exactly. All right. Anything else? Because I think we'll just boogie on out of here. What do you say? Of course,
I like the boogie.
This really isn't boogie music here. But Darius likes it.
It is for Darius.
But Darius likes it, so we play it. All right.
He loves it.
Let's give a shout out to our listeners that recently gave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Darius, can you help us out here?
Oh man, these are tough ones. We've got Shadow Hawk, Derek, aka Holy Roller, Fly by Night 2112, Silver Knight Saul, maybe Silver Knight Saul, and more Morphanai. I got nothing.
Morphanai?
Morphanai.
I don't know.
Got nothing.
Any shout outs this week?
I got a little shout out to the old Flex group. We ran a couple of wings and dragged me along. Shout out to Mushu, Pork, Bee Hunter, Maximilian, Devlin, Kelrog, Shaylin, Hollowshine, and then it was another. I took a screenshot. It was another something. I don't know. I can't remember the last part of it. It was another ... So I'm sorry.
Just another player. How about that?
Right, and Maximilian. So if I left out anybody, I apologize. But we had a great time in Flex. And then I joined another one. I did a little flexing this week, so
awesome.
Big shout out to everybody.
Awesome. And once again, big shout out to all of our officers in our guild. Big shout out to all of our members in our guild.
Yes.
It's the anniversary for the CTR Guild. Big shout out to everybody that's joined us over this last year. Cannot thank you guys enough for making it so fun, so awesome, and it gives me the goosebumps every time that I log in.
It does, the gooses.
The goosies. I get the goosies.
You've got the goosies.
All right, but I'm gonna bail on the music. I'm gonna bail on the music.
Just gonna bail out on that goosey?
Just gonna bail out on that.
All right.
So there. All right. And I'm gonna play this. We cannot do this show without you guys either. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the questions. And please join us in every single conversation we're having ever. And you can do that pretty easily. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid or individually, Isn't That Right, Coltrane.
That's right. And also a huge shout out before I do to this person that gave me Grunty.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
There we go.
Oh, I'm just going to stare at it again and again while I read the Twitter handles for everyone. You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane. And you can follow Dairies at Board Mine.
Right, and please join us at the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have show downloads, our forums. We have tons of links for raiders. We have our stuff from the guild and a lot more. And it's all over at converttoraid.com. We have our videos over there. As well as on GameBreaker.tv. Woo. Big shout out to GameBreaker. Of course. Gotta love those guys.
That's right.
Gary Gannon.
Oh, Gary Gannon.
Oh. And by the way, Colt, you and I are on the GameBreaker show.
That's right.
On GameBreaker TV. If you haven't checked it out, we're at episode... next week is going to be episode 4. But there's always some lively conversation after the show.
Yes, the after show is pretty
The after show was epic this week. And very inappropriate.
Yes.
There we go.
Another thing that we can blame Celestial on for.
That's right. All right. Our show is available on Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iTunes, all sorts of other places. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our regular time, Sunday, 11 a.m. Central. And for all the guys at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Go Patriots.
Go Broncos.
No.
Yeah.
No.